Did you know giant herring have a chance to drop iron ore which can be smelted into iron? It's true, and is the first of 7 sneaky locations to gather iron, and I will share every forbidden way to acquire it and many other resources across the world of Valheim. But first, an introduction to today's video sponsor, If Sunsets. If Sunsets is an adventure survival RPG with an ominous and unexpected twist set on a cursed and forsaken island following you being stranded by the assault of a massive kraken sea monster. During the day, you will focus on survival, exploring a vast open world, gathering the essential supplies and other activities to both equip yourself and enhance your base for the dangers that approach at night. After dark, If Sunsets transforms into a base defense game, forcing you to take shelter and outlast waves of monsters. To prepare for darkness, embark on an adventure across the vast and mysterious open world, discover its secrets, and leverage the boundless freedom it provides to write your own story along the way. Take advantage of engaging in dynamic combat to defeat cursed beasts and ancient bosses, and put your loot to great use by enhancing your weapons, armor, as well as leveling your character and placing your skill points to align with your preferred playstyle. But do not neglect your base. As night falls, waves of the undead will find you no matter where you hide. Fortunately, If Sunsets provides plenty of traps and obstacles to complicate the invader's assault as you establish refuge in a massively customizable fortress to fend off the undead horde. Of course, do not be afraid to mix it up with the undead to ensure you see the next morning's sunrise, and invite your friends to explore, gather, and survive waves of the undead with you. If Sunsets is available now on Steam, and you can support the channel and get 20% off until January 2nd by clicking my link in the video description or pinned comment below. Thank you to If Sunsets for sponsoring today's video. Our first forbidden location is for the valuable eggs resource, which can typically be purchased from Haldor following the defeat of Yagluth. However, they can be acquired early by navigating to Hildir's third dungeon in the Sealed Tower. In its basement following the defeat of Zil and Thungar, 1 egg can be found inside 2 separate chests. If you're feeling a bit cheeky too, you can clip inside the basement of the tower with a Finewood chair to save you the time of overcoming the many floors of fueling. If for some reason you don't have a bronze axe to chop birch or oak trees for Finewood, there are 2 other ways to acquire this resource for the chair. First, if you're lucky to come across shipwrecks on the shores of black forests, plains, or swamps, you can destroy them with an axe for a significant amount of Finewood. Second, many existing structures in the world will have furniture which can be destroyed, like in the Black Forest Towers or chairs and tables inside Draugr villages, to name a couple. When destroying shipwrecks, be sure to also take the time to dig underneath, as often a chest can be buried with the sunken ship. Inside, you will find valuables that can be sold to any of Valheim's vendors for coin, which, since Valheim's Bogwish update, will be very important to afford the resources required for the game's powerful new meads and feasts. While typically found within chests of dungeons, valuables can also be found in these following locations. First, sometimes laid upon the ground of stone graves in the meadows, but apparently not in my case. Second, underground at Viking graveyards made notable by rock formations in the shape of a ship. Third, fish, as you will see frequently on this list, each have rare loot drop pools, with the perch, pike, and tuna having a chance to drop amber pearls, and rubies when caught, respectively. Fourth, many creatures drop coins with the amount dropped increasing with the star level of the beast. For me, farming trolls works best since the Bogwitch update, as you can now purchase love potions to increase the chance of star level trolls, and attracting them to you, making for an excellent gold coin farm. Corewood too, while usually dropped from pine trees, can be found in 3 other ways. First, by deconstructing these campsites found rarely in the meadows. Second, by tearing down cabin houses located in the swamp or mountains. And third, by destroying bonfires found in fueling villages, or by deconstructing their sitting logs. Ancient bark as well, while normally gathered from ancient trees, will also be dropped from the destruction of bonfires, but alas, not the full amount, with only a single piece of bark. Otherwise, you might find some inside chests of sunken crypts or at spawner locations in the biome's overworld. Similarly, destroying the bonfires will yield you a Surtling Core, bringing us the first of 4 ways to acquire them outside of the Black Forest burial chambers. Second is obvious, but if you are lucky and find a flame geyser in the swamp, the Surtling can be farmed for cores and as a bonus, some coal. You can make these geysers a recurring farm by leveling the earth around the geyser such that the flame is underwater. Going forward, spawning Surtling will instantly perish, leaving you a permanent source of their burning cores. Thirdly, Dveger lanterns inside infested mines can be broken for a chance at a core. Fourth, catching Ashland's magmafish will provide a 7.69% chance to be awarded a Surtling core. However, since the Ashlands update, I've had a very hard time finding magmafish. Anyone else? Also included in the magmafish loot is a chance for Flametal Ore with an even lower drop rate than the core with 4.62%. Also, Flamemetal can be found both inside the charred chests of fortresses and crates inside the remains of Dveger strongholds should you want to avoid the danger of Flamemetal spires.
Surprise!
While defeating the Dveger, you will notice they sometimes drop soft tissue, otherwise restricted to the Mistlands in the mining of ancient skulls. Dveger, of course, can be found both in the Ashlands and Mist, with each dropping soft tissue. Alternatively, the Ashlands putrid holes will provide you their tissue, but again, fishing is another sneaky source of the resource, with the anglerfish having a 10% chance to drop the Eider producing ingredient. And thirdly, stored inside crates at many of the Dveger structures in the Mistlands. The other half of the Eider creating formula is sap, which when you are without a sap extractor can be acquired from caught puffer fish for a 10% drop chance. Other than iron, copper is likely the most widely used raw material and has 5 sources aside from the standard copper vein mining in the Black Forest. First, the ancient armor and swords can be broken down with a black metal pickaxe for their scrap. Second, the existing Dveger structures such as their viaducts can be taken down with a stone cutter, producing you scrap. Otherwise, breaking many of the columns or walls making up their homes will also work. Third, fishing steps up again, with this time the trollfish having a 10% chance. Fourth, the Dveger lanterns, as mentioned previously, when not giving you a Surtling core, may give you copper scrap. Bronze 2 can be acquired without having to combine tin and copper, firstly, with a small drop chance when destroying the standing braziers found in Frost Caves, and secondly, by destroying ancient pots found either inside putrid holes or amongst ruins in the Ashlands, although with a mere 3.85% drop chance. Silver can also be found inside the ancient pots with the same drop chance, but the northern salmon 2, found off the shores of the deep north biome, will provide double the chance at 6.67%. But that's not all the salmon can drop, as surprisingly, carrot seeds are found in their loot pool. Seek them out if you happen to be struggling to find them in the Black Forest, but remember, they will only drop about 13.33% of the time. Surprisingly, northern salmon are not the only fish to drop a plantable crop, with the grouper having a 10% chance to drop barley off the coast of the plains, and perhaps best yet, the coral cod found in the deep ocean providing a 6.67% chance to yield onion seeds, one of the most elusive seeds in the game. Other simple resources like deer hide, while gathered by hunting of deer in the meadows, can also be found in 3 other places. 1, often hoarded by trolls inside their caves and stored in chests. 2 and 3, by destroying the roofs and tanning racks found in fueling villages. Similarly, leather scraps, while primarily sourced from the meadow's wildlife, the game presents you several other opportunities to grind the resource. First, like deer hide, trolls fancy gathering the hide of their prey and storing it somewhere safe. Second, bats of frost caves of course will drop plenty of additional scraps, making the You Stirred the Cauldron event particularly fruitful for leather scrap collection. Thirdly, muddy scrap piles typically mined for iron scrap can also provide a nice alternative source of boar hide. And fourth, like deer hide, can be acquired from deconstructing tanning racks found in the wild. And speaking of muddy scrap piles, we have come full circle returning to iron, of which there are 6 alternative methods not yet mentioned for gathering iron scrap. In fact, first is once again muddy scrap piles, but rather than inside the crypt, these have a chance to spawn outside in the swamp overworld. Either use a wishbone to locate them or slam with a 2-handed hammer and look for the text "too hard" as an indication of a scrap pile's presence. Second, the biome's oozer have a 33% chance to drop scrap, making the event You Smell a Foul Smell from the Swamp particularly beneficial if hunting for iron. Third, an iron ingot as a small drop chance from destroying doors in frost caves. Fourth, like eggs, can be acquired in sealed towers by destroying the iron gates. Fifth, like copper, will sometimes drop when destroying Dveger viaducts in the Mistlands. And sixth, like bronze and silver, has a 3.85% chance to drop from ancient pots in the Ashlands. And since so many of these resources required you catch fish, I have got you covered with my complete guide to fishing in Valheim right here.